Have you ever had a truth that carried you for years only to realize that this truth is not even yours? That's what this past week have taught me. Hey, it's your girl Sherri Summer Bell, and I'm just returning from speaking on three stage, three hotel rooms, four flights. And I am here to give you all the lowdown. But before I do that, before I give you all the nuggets of all the things that I learned these past weekend, because just going to be dropping a bomb on you. I went and did all the heavy lifting, paid the money for the flight, hotel room, and all this stuff, spoke on these stages, networked, did all the things so you don't have to, and bring you back all the bread. So you can grow your business. But before I do, I want to remind you of our upcoming masterclass, how to get people to say yes to you. This masterclass is designed for you to craft your signature message so you can have conversation that leads to sales. So if you haven't already, make sure you signed up. Okay. So I decided that I told y'all I was going to go big. I've been talking about going big, and going big is like a cliche word, right? People are like, oh, I'm going big, go big or go home. We've said that, but I made a decision that I was just tired of playing it small. And if I'm on this podcast telling you that I'm tired of playing it small, I'm going to be showing you, because I'd rather show you than tell you. So this is what I set out to do. I decided that I was going to speak on three different stages in 1 week, and I did. Well, 8% wasn't really a stage. Let me say that. It was a round table. I was speaking at a round table, and I was talking about really how to get people to say yes to you. I was really talking about how to shift your presence, makes people feel good when they're around you, to say yes to you. But it's not really about what I was talking about. I want to talk about this episode today. After you speak on three different stages, flights, hotel, city, in rooms filled with powerful influence and purpose, one thing became crystal clear. Everything we know is subject to revision, especially what we call truth. And I took some notes for you right now. So if you're on YouTube and you see me looking down, that's because I took some good notes, baby. And I'm going to share some of these notes with you because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I literally had my pen and paper. I had it going, and the first stop I went to was 8%. Shout out to Cody and Lauren Askins. They are hosts of the 8% conference. This is a conference for women and men who are insurance agents, financial professional, insurance brokers, and it's where everyone gets together and learn more about how to build their agency and to learn sales and marketing. And I love going. This is my second year, I think, going. Yeah, this is my second year going. I spoke on the stage last year, but this year I knew I had two other stages to speak on. So I knew I have conflict with time. So I opted in to just do the round table, and it was really, really good. So I got to kind of just hang out in the hallway and talk to some of my OGs. And before I get into the truth, of what I want to dive deep in, I'm going to give you the meat. Trust me, I'm going to give you the meat. I cannot stress enough how important it is to go to these conferences. When I left, there was something I was working on my business with, and I could not figure it out. And I want to shout out to Alex Brenna. I think Alex's last name is Brenna, but he is the Agent CRM. He's the owner of Agent CRM. And Alex and I was talking shop, and he was talking shop, and he was literally helping me solve a problem while we were in the hallway where all the vendors are. So here I am coming to 8% to do a round table, but we were just out there just jamming and talking shop. And I got the answer to what I need in the hallway. In the hallway. I want you to think about that for a second. Like, there's an angel that came to me. Alex and his other team member was there, and we were sitting at a table, and we were just talking about a masterclass that I have, which is how to get people to say yes to you. And we were diving about a masterclass and how many amazing ladies was on the masterclass, and we're going to have it again. Shameless plug, got to put that in there. And it was just fascinating to hear him. We were talking about the different conversations about how women are so awesome in what they do, but not knowing how to get their message out there. Sometimes they struggle with. And he was just giving me pointers on how to help that conversation. And it goes back to show you why we go to conferences. Like, you may think your answer is going to come from someone on stage. You may think your answer is going to come from someone that's hosting the event. But for me, the answer came from the hallway. And not just for me. There's another lady that was there that I met, and she was like, hey, I was getting ready to leave because I really felt like this wasn't for me. And then she said, after talking with you, I came back, and oh my goodness, you just made my day. Because I was having a conversation with her and helping her with her business right on the spot. So if you're not going to events, live events, you're so missing out. Because again, God always sent an angel to answer a question that you may have in your business. If you ever feel like you're stuck and you need answers, I want to challenge you to go to a live event. I guarantee you, before you leave, the answer will be there. That has always heard people say that about going to a live event, and how going to that event literally kind of transformed their life. And I know it did for me. So shout out to Alex for helping me with that. So let's start here. We've been carrying truth like success doesn't happen to people like me. I'm too driven. I'm too nice to win. I'm too nice to win at this level. And everything we know is subject to revision. That's what we're talking about right now. Everything we know. And why am I bringing this up? One of the speakers spoke about that, and I love to give people credit, and I didn't get a chance to grab his name. But everything we know is subject to revision. For a long time when I came into entrepreneurship space, when you decide to come into this space, everything you learn as a child is going to be subject to recheck. And let me tell you why that is. It's subject to recheck because the information your parents taught, God bless their soul, was based on what was going on in that moment at that time in their life. So they gave their kids their download information to their kids based on what their past experience. So we use that to say it's a Bible, it's the truth. But now we are in a different season, but yet we're holding on to these so-called truth that our parents, our friends, our family members may have told us, and that those truths may delay our abundance and our blessing because we're still holding on to them and use that as a primary mechanism of the way we carry out the patterns of our life. And when reality is, those truths no longer hold truth anymore. No longer hold, but we're holding on to those things because they're safe. This is what our parents taught us. I remember T.D. Jakes was having he was preaching on the topic of Thanksgiving and how a mother, I think she was cooking something. I think it was a turkey. And then the mother would, I'm paraphrasing, but the grandmother would get rid of a certain area of the turkey, like maybe the head of the turkey. And then the daughter would do the same thing. Then the granddaughter started doing the same thing. And then finally the granddaughter said, why do we get rid of this part of the meat? And she was like, well, my mother did it. And the mother did it because it was based on that situation. Maybe somebody else couldn't eat that or allergic to that. But it has nothing to do with the granddaughter, So, but no one questioned why do we do that? No one questioned that. So I want to ask you, what are some truth that you've been holding on to that you make it your Bible, you make it your truth, that it has been carrying you? For example, I know one of the things is holding on to money safely, not investing because you feel like you're going to lose the money. Every time you invest in something, it don't feel like an investment to you. It feels like you lost something. You're losing money. Instead of reshifting your mind and say, no, this was an investment. That was big for me. When I started investing in coaching, it was hard for me to see this as investment opposed to seeing it as, oh, I'm losing some money. But what changed for me is when I realized, as I kept investing in coaching and I kept using values from different coaches that I have been taught through, when I kept using some things that I was taught, I was like, wow, this is really paying off. For example, when I did a Rich Dad Academy, and I learned about real estate, I learned how to wholesale property. I realized that those information, those education of how to wholesale property, I'm still using those education of the coaching investment that I bought years ago. So I realized, oh wow, this is an investment. I remember also coaching with other coaches like April Franks and learning how to launch my course or my masterclass or my challenges or whatever I'm doing. How do I launch something? How do I launch a product? And till this day, I'm still using those strategy of how to launch a product. So secondly, systems. I have a sales flow system that I use to send out my emails and my websites and all this stuff. So these sales flow system that I use, knowing how to send out the emails and how the funnels and automation work, I still know how to do all of that till this day based on an investment that I did with Don Mars years ago. Years ago. Matter of fact, back in probably 2016 is when I invested in learning automation and systems. So if I had kept the story that in coaching, when I invest in when I pay for coaching, I'm losing money, I would not have been where I am today. So, but looking back at all the coaching that I've had, I am taking piece of the nuggets that I learned from each coaches that I have invested in and made me so valuable today that I can help my clients and be able to help all the different people that I come in contact with and who people attend my master classes or speaking on stage or met me in person. I can help them with their business on the spot, all because of some investments that I've done in the past. So that's just one example of everything that we know is subject to revision. Of if I had go to my mom and I remember going to her and saying, hey, can you loan me $2,500 because I want to invest in a coaching program? She thought it was crazy. But if I said, can I get $2,500 to invest in a personal loan for my master's degree? She would have said yes. But I'm going to tell you this. I made more money in my coaching program than I did in my master's degree. How about them apples? So which one is a real scam, right? Which one is a real scam? So that's one of the truth, one of the feedback from the program. And another one that I learned, but those aren't just truth. Those are leftover lies wrapped up in fear. So these things I had to relearn, that those things that my family has taught me to keep me safe, like save your money, don't spend it out on things. And to a point, I get what they're saying, but as an entrepreneur, we're always using our money to make us more money. Our money is always at work to us. So those are leftover lies wrapped in fear, passed down, projected on you, or birthed in moments where and it allow you to shrunk. I sat in these rooms watching powerful women minimize their greatness with language that they use, and made me realize truth number one: your truth might be outdated. Your truth might be outdated. Just because it used to carry you doesn't mean it meant to come with you now. Talk about them apples. I get it. I get why our parents want to keep us safe and tell us certain things. Back then they didn't have AI. Back then they didn't have a map to tell us where to go like our phones do now. Turn here. Go right. Keep going. Accident ahead. They didn't have that. Right? So before you go any further in this podcast, what are some truths that you've been holding on to for years. Years. Truth about maybe no one in your family is a millionaire or will ever be a millionaire. Or women don't do that. Women are not allowed to do that. Or what is some truth that serve you then but won't serve you now? I come from a very cultural, religious background. So I had to unlearn so much because of what I'm telling you right now. I had to revise so many different things because I learned that wealth has its own culture. And if I am trying to set a wealth standard for my son, the culture that I'm trying to set, whoever is talking to me, if they're not at that level, they don't understand that culture. So, and that's another thing too. Some of you guys are listening to people who has not been where you're trying to go. So if you're trying to go somewhere you never been, you got to listen to the people who's already there. Then there was this one, the truth. Your first taught doesn't count. This is truth number 2. This is something that I learned at 8%. Your first taught doesn't count. Here's what I mean by that. Truth number 2. I hope you're writing these stuff down because it's good. Whenever I need to go to move the next step, like for example, me saying I want to speak at 3 different events in 1 week. Me saying that is, how am I going to pull this off? Who's going to watch my son? As a mom, can I be gone that long? All of those first taught coming up. How expensive this is going to be to all these moving parts. How much is this going to cost me? So your first taught in your mind, all of that comes in your mind. Or let's say you go to a store, you see this purse, this beautiful, nice, gorgeous leather, beautiful, handmade purse. You see it, it's luxury, it's nice, you like it, but then you got the sticker. And as soon as you look at the sticker, you're sticker shock, right? That's the first thought. And you slowly want to put it back because your mind is saying, oh, I can't afford that, right? So your first thought is a no because we're just programmed pattern to say no. We're just programmed the pattern to say no. A child come out saying daddy and no, right? Those 2 things. No. No, you can't have that. No. That why you think my masterclass is to get people to say yes. How do we get people to say yes? Because we're so busy saying no all the time. No. Right? We're so used to no, that can't happen. No, that's not for us. No. So your pattern, your first thought is a no. But what if, you know that moment when you hear the price of an investment and your mind goes, I can't do that. That's your first thought. But your power is in the second thought. How can I make that work? What's possible if I say yes to this? You're not broke. You're just misaligned with your own next level of thinking. You need to write that down. You need me to say it again. You're not broke. You're just misaligned with your next level of thinking. So if anytime I hear something, and my team noticed, shout out to Jasmine, she will say something to me. She's like, hey, we have contractual agreements with whenever someone booked me to speak, and there's certain things that I request. And if the person say no to it, Jasmine like, hey, they say no, but here's what I did. So the first thought, like, huh? And then the second thought is like, because she know my first thought is going to be this and this. Really? Why did they say no? And then the second thought, she'll clear it up, right? But I am aware now that my first thought is just a pattern of who I've been as a childhood. And I don't try to fix that, but I know not to go with that. Then my second thought is my actual thought, like, okay, how can we make this work? Is this really what I want? Then how can I make it work? And then here's the beauty about that with your second thought. Once you start having that second thought, that everything you need to make it work, the God ordained the universe to make it happen. That's the beauty of that second thought. Instead of getting that sticker shock of that purse, you're like, okay, you walk away for a little bit. The purse is still on your mind. Then you're like, I'm going to let it happen. I remember was it our anniversary? And I wanted a massage. We were at the Tampa edition. It was my husband and I anniversary. And the Tampa edition is just so beautiful. I highly recommend. Very nice and upscale. It's gorgeous. And we were there, and I told my husband, I said, I want a massage. And now the massage was just, it wasn't in what we were budgeting for at the time. And I kept saying I wanted to get it done. Then I said I don't want to get it done because at first I said that's a thought. Is it in our budget? And my husband was like, do you want it? And I was like, yeah. He said, well, go do it. Yeah. Question is, will this help you? Do you want it? Is it something that you want? Yes. And let me tell you something. It was the best decision I've ever made. I still till this day say, hey, our next anniversary date, I want to go back there again and get that same massage again. It was so good. It was everything. I was slobbing and everything when I was getting that massage. It was just that good. The presentation, the experience was so good. Came out, they had matter of fact, it was for my birthday. It wasn't our anniversary. It was for my birthday. And even if it's him spending it, I'm still, babe, don't spend that much money. And again, that's from childhood, thinking I'm not worthy of somebody spending that money on me. Isn't that crazy? And that's my husband. That's crazy. And he's like, get it. If that's what you want, get it done. And I'm still working through that. I'm still working through those thoughts, through those beliefs, like somebody can spend that money on me. I'm still working through that. So we got to really watch our thoughts. Like if it's something you truly want and it's going to be on your mind, like I don't want to miss out on this. I want this. I want you to allow yourself to have that second thought. And that second thought should be, how can I make this happen? How can I make this happen? And I promise you, when you start thinking in that manner, you start figuring out ways to make it happen. All right. Truth number 3. Your tower of influence is built on self-authorship. Number 3, your tower of influence is built on self-authorship. Here's what I mean. Not someone else's mood, not your followers, not your matrix. You decide who you are. You decide your energy. You choose the language that shapes your value. Nobody gets to name your influence but you. There's so many times that we allow as entrepreneurs people to misguide our energy, and we can't have that. And that's one of the feedback I get. You decide to dictate how your day's going to go. And is that self-explanatory? Not going to spend more time there. Let's go to the next truth, which is number 4. The higher you go, the deeper you must go. Shout out Daniel Gomez. He said something like that before. Daniel was talking about, he said something that stayed with me. He was talking about once he received like $100,000 check and was scared to touch it because deep down he didn't feel he worthy of it. He was talking about we prayed for overflow, but never expand our idea to match the weight of what we asked for. Oh, Jesus, hallelujah. We are praying for overflow, but never about the expand of our idea to match the weight of what we ask for. If you don't feel worthy or intentional internally, you'll sabotage it externally. So again, if you don't feel worthy of it internally, you will sabotage it externally. That check, that stage, that yes, it will slip through your fingers because you don't believe you should have it. Oh, Jesus, how much time we got to talk about that? That's why we talk about setting the thermostat of what success look like from a financial standpoint. So I was talking to my husband and we were talking about, again, the Tampa edition. I love that, the edition hotel. And I said, I want to go there so much that the Tampa edition becomes my norm. Like the Four Seasons becomes my norm. Like first class becomes my norm. Like it's just like my son, to him, that's norm. Everything is that's normal, right? That is just the norm. So you wanna get to a place where your mind is so conditioned to be that. People was knocking B. Simone for saying that she had to go to H&M because she couldn't stay in Bloomingdale, but Bloomingdale became her norm, So that's what I mean. So you know how to handle. You want to be able to make 10, 20, 30 million dollars your norm. Your norm. You want to be able to make it your norm so you don't feel like you're internally self-sabotaging it externally as well. Because so the deeper when you go higher financially, the deeper you have to go internally. And that's what Daniel talk about. But out of all of the truths, all of the things, all of the feedback that was said this past week of all of the event that I went to, this one I think takes the cake. This one. So just kind of recap some of the truth we learned of some of the feedback from this past week of me speaking and listening to conferences. Number 1, your truth might be outdated. Number 2, your first thought doesn't count. Number 3, the tower of influence is built on your self-authorship. In other words, you get to determine your mood. No one else do. Number 4, the higher you go, the deeper you must go internally. And number 5, I think this one takes the cake of everything else that I learned. And at the 7-Figure Summit, they passed out an actual mustard seed. And I literally I left mine in my hotel room, and I literally had to call Jasmine Womack. Shout out to her, soon to be Dr. Womack, and say, hey, I need my mustard seed. I need it because I said, this is going to stay with me wherever I go. And she passed out actual mustard seed, and I was shocked. I was so shocked because it was my first time actually seeing it. We've say so many times, have the faith of the grain of a mustard seed. We've said it so many times, but how many times have we actually take a look at how small a mustard seed is? It was so small. It was so small. And it hit me. I've been thinking I need a mountain-sized faith to move mountain. But God said mustard seed. I realized I've already been walking in faith. And if you've been showing up, pushing through doubt, even when you couldn't see the full stairs, sis, so have you. I have been doing it, and so have you. I realize I've already been walking in faith. And if you've been showing up, pushing through doubt, even when you couldn't see the full stairs, sis, so have you. But here's what I need to speak directly to you. Across all 3 events, I noticed the same struggle. Women couldn't clearly articulate what they do. Their words were beautiful, but their message were blurry. So when we're talking about having faith of a mustard seed, their faith were lingering. And even though God said have faith of a mustard seed, the faith of confidence to explain what they do at every event was a little blurry. And their message create blurry. Because their message is blurry, their income is also blurry. Is that making sense? Yeah. Okay. I don't want that for you. Because Proverbs, because I read Proverbs, the chapter Proverbs in the Bible, and I'm reading it again. Yeah, that's me, overachiever, and I'm doing it again because I just love Proverbs. It's full of so much wisdom. It's full of so much wisdom. So I went back over and read Proverbs again. And Proverbs say that if someone is hungry and you have food but don't feed them, it's a sin. Let me say it again. But if someone is hungry and you don't sell them the food, it's a sin. And the word sell, key word, sell them, it's a sin. Well, if your audience is hungry and you have the gift and you can't explain it, you're keeping people starving. So Jasmine was up there because it was her event, and she was talking about doing the marketing for their book because it was a 7-figure bestseller summit. And she was talking about marketing your book and the different ways to market your book, different ways to capture people's attention and prepare for the launch and doing posts and doing social media and the different strategy. All I could think of is in each of these strategy, you still need to know what to say to get people to buy in to whatever you're selling. In this case, it was a book. That's what kept coming to my mind. That's what kept coming to my mind. Your audience is hungry for your gift. And if you can't explain it, you're keeping people starving. You could be the answer that a person needs. But the lack of confidence in articulating what you do and how you do it, because you're lacking the faith to really say it or learn how to say it, people are starving. And we can't have that. We can't have that. We cannot have that at all. So that's why I kept saying, this is why I'm hosting my masterclass. This is why my masterclass is here. The language behind the conversation of what you do. I was at another event, and we were on a panel, and some questions that was asked, and they were taking. And when the question was asked, I was listening to the ladies on the panel. And some of them was taking so long to articulate the answer to the question. And all I could think of is, oh my God, this individual could so benefit from learning how to craft a conversation, knowing what to say. This individual could so learn how to captivate the audience to be interested enough to where they want to learn more about them. They want to learn more about who they are. And I could not, and I just wanted to help so bad. I wanted to help because there was a question being asked, because the ladies that I helped, they're already showing up on panels. They're already getting opportunity on stages. They have a mic, they have a phone, they're showing up live, they're posting, but they're not knowing what to say. And if you want to know if I know what to say, let me tell you something. We had 340 people signed up for my How to Get People to Say Yes to You masterclass. Last time we hosted this masterclass, that's how much people signed up. We relaunched this masterclass last week, Monday, to Sunday, so 1 week. And from Sunday, which was yesterday, based on when I'm recording this, so you're going to hear it, we have 360. 360. We have already had more people registered now, and we still have 1 week to go, than we did when we had the event. And we still have 1 more week to go. So we already surpassed how many people registered the first time. Now, why would 360 people register for a masterclass? Sherri, how did you get them to do that? That should be the questions that you're asking me right now. Because my message was clear. Because they hear something in that video that made them say yes. And you're probably one of them who register. And I'm so excited for you to come, register, and attend. But the message was clear. You saw the video. You heard what I was saying. You can relate to what I was saying. And you said, oh, I got to be there. This is something I need. You and 360 plus people have in 1 week have registered for this masterclass. In 1 week. That's the power of having the correct language and being able to communicate and articulate to your target audience what you do. So if you ever want a reason to attend the masterclass, I just gave that to you. I just gave that to you. Because people don't just say yes to anything. Strangers, this is cold audience. Let me just say that. Cold audience. On a daily basis, we would get 42 leads. Fresh, brand new leads that never seen me before. Coming into my email list, signing up for this program. 360 plus in 1 week. In 1 week. And I'm sitting here telling my team, like, should we stop it? Should we cut it? Well, should we keep going? Will we have enough space like last time? That's what is happening behind the scenes right now. And I'm getting ready to fly out tomorrow. So by the time you hear this, by the time you're listening to this podcast, I will already be gone. I will already be gone to an event, launch your ads live event in Atlanta. I will already be back on a plane again. So if you want to learn how I'm able to do this, how to get your language, your message clear. So when you're speaking on a podcast, when you're speaking on a panel, because you're already doing this, when you're writing your book, when you're speaking on stage, when you're having a conversation with someone on a plane, when someone stops you at the gas station and say, hey, I heard you're working on this, or I heard you do this. I need help in this. You know what to say to them. So you can literally cut down the follow-up calls. Cut down the sales calls. Not saying you won't have sales call, but you're cutting it down. Because I think if somebody get 340 people to register for their class in 1 week, I think they know how to articulate their message. All right. So, anywho, I would love for you to join me on this masterclass. I am excited about it. If you're struggling to describe what you do in a way that makes people want to buy, felt like your words were powerful, but your sales didn't reflect it, or you just know it's time to clean up the message so you can cash in on your mission, then this is for you. Your voice is the storefront of your business. And it's time to make sure people walk in it. It definitely is. So make sure you can go to sherrimasterclass.com, or you can just literally hit the inside of the show notes and go to it. In the meantime, because it's time, you're not showing up confused. You're showing up clear, confident, and converting. All right. Enough about the masterclass. I am, as I said, getting ready to get on a plane again. This time is a workshop. This time is for me getting educated by my mastermind team. And so this time is for my own education, because I'm always learning myself. So, but I only came home because I needed to wash clothes. and then go back out again. So I'm just going to wash my clothes and I'm just going to go back out again. Anywho, but those are the truth. But my takeaway I want you to get before I end here is having faith, the grain of a mustard seed. Have faith, the grain of a mustard seed. That small mustard seed. So if there's something you want to do, and you want to take that risk, and you want to say yes to yourself. There was a couple of people that were saying yes to an offer. And I was telling her, and this is not even my offer, it was somebody else's offer. And I said, your life is about to change. The way you think is about to change. See, here's the thing. Every program that I've invested in, it wasn't a strategy that I learned. I learned how to think differently. Like this program even in right now, like high value thinking. The biggest thing that my clients take away from me, they learn how to think at a higher level. At a higher level. Because once you believe and know how to think at a higher level, there's no strategy that you will not do. Say it again. Once you learn how to think at a higher level, there's not a strategy in the world, regardless of what. If there's a strategy that you need to go to the next step, it doesn't matter what the strategy is, you will do it. All right. So that's all I got for you today. Went a little bit longer, but guess what? I think it was so worth it. I'm so glad you're tuning in. Please leave us a review. I haven't asked for that in a long time. Please leave us a review for our Monetize Your Influence podcast. Until next time, it's your girl, Sherri Summer Bell. See you on the masterclass. Talk to you later. You have a blessed day.